year and a half ago, we moved to France thinking it would be the fresh start we needed. And in many ways, it was. But what I didn't expect was how hard some parts would feel. Struggling to find work, feeling invisible because of the language, missing family more than ever. And at the same time, watching our children thrive, falling in love with life here, and slowly building a new home. So today I want to share the real story of our first year here in France. The highs, the lows, the beautiful moments and the difficult ones. Not as advice, just honesty from our experience. The hardest part of our first year has definitely been work. When we moved, both my husband and I left our jobs in London. The original plan was that he would transfer with his company to France. But just 2 weeks before we moved, the plan fell through. At that point, there was no way back. We had already rented our flat out, arranged a move, and secured a school place for our daughter. So, we moved anyway. Because my husband works in tech and fully remote, we were not really worried at first, and none of us had any issues finding work before. But the reality turned out to be different. The job market changed, competition increased, and we also realized that many international companies hesitate to hire remote workers based in France because of high taxes and complex administration. So, finding stable work has been much harder than we expected. Moving countries is already a big emotional challenge, and doing that without having full job security made our first year feel even heavier. Learning French has been another challenge. I actually enjoy learning the language, but finding time with 2 small children is really difficult. So, progress has been slow. Understanding people has definitely become easier over time, at least in everyday situations. But more complex conversations can still feel overwhelming. For example, we recently had a workman at the house we live to discuss some repairs, and I barely understood half of what he said. Speaking is even harder. Some days I manage a conversation and I feel so proud, but other days my mind just goes completely blank and I just can't find my words at all. It's humbling in a way that I wasn't fully prepared for. One of the hardest emotional side of this first year has been social life. Moving abroad as an adult is very different from moving as a child. When you don't speak the language fluently, you can sometimes feel invisible. Not because people are unkind, they really aren't. But when you can't express yourself fully, you feel like a quieter, smaller version of yourself. Conversation move on around you, jokes go over your head. You can't always join in the way you want to, and that makes building friendships much harder. Starting a social circle from scratch in your late 30s in another language is humbling. Relationships here grow slowly. People are friendly, but not instantly familiar. So it takes patience, consistency, and time. We were incredibly lucky though, because before we even moved, we connected with someone through Facebook who ended up helping us find a house to rent and introducing us to people in the area. Without her, this first year would have felt much lonelier, but even with her help, finding real friendships has been definitely one of the biggest challenges of this move. Living far from family has also been quite hard. Not having grandparents nearby, not being able to pop over to help or just for a cup of tea. My in-laws visited a few times, which was wonderful, but my own parents haven't been able to visit because of health issues. That distance is felt more than I imagined. You gain a new life, but you also leave pieces of the old one behind. And a very practical law, winter. Old French houses are beautiful, but they are not built for cold or damp weather. This winter was especially challenging because our heating system broke. So we relied on a wood burner, small electric heaters and electric blankets. We made it cozy, but it definitely wasn't what I imagined life in the south of France would feel like. Learning how to stay warm and adjust to that slower winter rhythm was a real adjustment. Another stressful moment was arranging childcare for our son. Before we moved, we had organized a childminder for him. But right before the move, we found out that we needed to be registered in a French government system to pay her. And that process took over 6 months. So suddenly we had no childcare. In the end, we had to put him in a private nursery for 2 days a week, which was more expensive than we planned. It was quite stressful at the time, but it actually ended on a positive note because he loved the nursery. And from last September, we managed to get a place for him in a public creche, and he's very happy there now. This might sound surprising, but navigating French school life has been a big high. Signing up our daughter for maternelle was easy, even from London. The local Murray helped us, and the teachers have been incredibly welcoming. She arrived speaking no French at all, and by the end of the school year, she was already chatting happily with her friends. Seeing that transformation has been amazing, and even with my imperfect French, we always felt supported by the school. Watching our children adapt here has honestly been one of the greatest joys of this whole move. Our daughter is growing up surrounded by 3 languages, and she switches between them in a way that still amazes me. And our little boy is happy, confident, and completely settled in his new environment. Seeing them build friendships, feel at home here, and become so comfortable in this new life has been incredibly rewarding. Their days are simpler now. More time outdoors, more space to play, more connection to nature. Knowing we are giving them a slower, more outdoor childhood and the gift of growing up with multiple languages feels like the best decision we ever made. Living surrounded by nature has been one of the biggest gifts of this move. Back in England, everyday life felt much more enclosed. More traffic, more noise, more rushing. Here, stepping outside instantly feels different. Most mornings, I look out of the window and see blue sky, vineyards, hills, and quiet streets. And even on stressful days when paperwork feels overwhelming or the language feels impossible, going for a simple walk with a doggy resets everything. There are so many small moments that have become normal to us now. Driving past fields of sunflowers in summer, walking through empty vineyards in autumn, seeing snow on the Pyrenees in the distance. Being so close to both the sea and the mountains still feels like a little unreal. It's hard to measure exactly how much that environment affects your mental health, but I know it has changed mine. This landscape has given us a kind of everyday calm we didn't have before. Another huge high has been the amount of time we spend together as a family. Life here just moves at a different pace. In London, we were always rushing, commuting, schedules, packed weekends, constant plans. Here, our days feel fuller, but somehow slower at the same time. We eat more meals together. We spend more afternoons outside. Weekends don't feel like recovery time anymore. They feel like actual family time. Even simple things like walking to the bakery together or taking the doggy for a walk together have become little routines we really treasure. I feel much more present with the children here, and that slower, more family-focused rhythm is probably the biggest reason we wanted to move here in the first place. So even on hard days, this part always reminds me why we came. There are so many small pleasures here that have slowly become part of our normal life. Morning trips to the bakery for fresh bread, village markets with local produce, long, unhurried dog walks through vineyards and quiet streets, friendly hellos from neighbors you can start to recognize over time. None of these things are big or glamorous, but together they create a very comforting rhythm of daily life. Life here isn't about constant entertainment or always doing something exciting. It's more about simple routines, small moments, and feeling connected to the place you live. And somehow those ordinary, everyday joys have become some of my favorite parts of living in France. Just a gentle, grounded way of living. And personally, starting this YouTube channel has been a huge unexpected high for me. I have never been someone with big online presence, so this was completely new for me. But it's given me a creative outlet, a sense of purpose, and a wonderful community. Sometimes moving countries opens doors you didn't even know existed. If this first year taught me anything, it's this. You can love a place and still struggle in it. And you can be happy and challenged at the same time. Moving to France hasn't been a fairy tale, but it has been an adventure. One I'm incredibly grateful for. And even with the loss, I would still choose this life again. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. A bientôt!